that's dope, you know. So, you know, it was good sparring. It was very good experience for me.
Him, the way we focused on him.
The bigger guys training for this, how's that felt?
You said a
sparring, sparring the bigger guys.
Even though Canelo defeated him twice in their trilogy, Crawford has now turned to Triple G for assistance. However, there is still much debate regarding whether their first fight was actually a draw because Gennady Golovkin defeated Canelo Alvarez in 10 of the 12 rounds, but the judges decided to declare it a draw. The outcome of the first fight set the stage for a trilogy in which Canelo Alvarez went on to prove himself in the final 2 bouts.
Can you fill in the blank? Triple G is blank.
Si puedes terminarle la expresión. Triple G es, ¿qué dirías?
The friendship between Terence Crawford and Gennady Golovkin began when there were rumors of a potential fight between them last year. But the first thing Crawford learned from Triple G was how hard Canelo Alvarez's punches were. Crawford wants to know how Gennady Golovkin could upset and dominate Canelo Alvarez, which led to a contentious draw.
I mean, you don't have to give details. I know you guys are competitive, but what was that sparring like? Fight fans want to know.
It was dope. It was dope. It was dope. I appreciate it.
Perhaps Triple G's greatest blow of the 3 bouts with Canelo occurred during their first encounter, when Canelo caught Golovkin clean with a massive right hand in the 9th round. DAZN has been informed by Triple G of the punch's intensity and the solution. Crawford might find it interesting. I don't know what to call that blow, but I let it go through. It wasn't hard. It felt more like a slap, or perhaps a sliding punch. Golov didn't do much to diminish Canelo's strength, but it might give Crawford even more hope before their likely meeting.
For even, giving me the opportunity to step in the ring with him, I could say that.
In addition to their conversations, Terence Crawford and him had a brief sparring session, similar to what he did with Floyd Mayweather a few weeks ago, when the Crawford vs. Triple G fight made the rounds. Many people thought it was highly dubious because some boxing bouts are simply not feasible, no matter how much you want them to happen. This is the case in the story where it was rumored that His Excellency Turkey Alec was considering a massive bout between former undisputed welterweight champion Terence Crawford and former super middleweight champion Gatti.
Jake Paul's in town. You guys gonna get dinner?
I didn't think so.
Maybe next time.
Canelo, can you fill in the blank for me? Triple G is blank.
Triple G 42 never officially announced his retirement from the sport, but after suffering his second career defeat at the hands of Canelo Alvarez in 2022, he never returned to the sport. He would further become the head of Kazakhstan's Olympic Committee, partly ending speculations about his return. Regardless, the Saudi royal hopped on X recently to debunk these rumors, after the rumors about Alil Sheikh wanting to arrange their fight in 2025 started spreading on social media. Fight Hub TV picked up the story and asked their followers, "What do you think of fight fans?" This seems to have caught the Saudi advisors, who quickly docked at the comment section to write "not truth," revealing the whole thing was a hoax, and he has no intentions of making such a.
Конечно, да, потому что я скажу так, наверное, во мне вот эта вот страсть к боксу еще пока не остыла. В данный момент у меня 3 пояса в 160, мне надо решать свои вопросы.
Even after he disclosed the truth about the Crawford vs. Triple G battle, rumors, fans couldn't help but give their thoughts about the hypothetical battle. Despite being in what seems like a retirement, Golovkin enjoys a dedicated following base online, who swiftly took his side. One user thinks Triple G must still have his power despite his age. The user wrote, "At 160, Triple G could be sluggish, but I'm sure he is still powerful." But have folks seen Triple G lately? The man looks retired and like he hasn't sparred run 6 miles in 2 years. Strangely, even though he doesn't look like he would return to boxing, he has hinted at a potential return in various.
Ну, я думаю, даже скажу, может быть, немножко громко, я неплохо себя чувствовал, и если вы видели, как бы я
The next user shared their prediction for the bout. Crawford will not step in the ring for this fight. Triple G will stop Crawford within 7 rounds by stoppage, wrote the user. Notably, in Crawford's last 12 bouts, he has gone the distance only once, meaning he is no pushover akin to the previous user. This guy has similar thoughts. Prime Triple G versus Bud. Triple G wins with ease, wrote the user, when he was at his best. Golovkin actually had one of the most scariest knockout ratios with 42 victories and 37.
В принципе, даже не пропускал и не устал. То есть я показал, что есть силы, чему я очень рад.
On top of that, Crawford's ascension to higher weight classes wouldn't have benefited him either. The following user appeared shocked by the matchup, shaking my head. Terence may need to retire. He has no one else to fight. They are simply drawing hell out of a hat at this point, the user noted. However, that's not exactly accurate. Jiren Boots Andis has been raring to face Crawford, but Bud has refused to participate. Meanwhile, this user appeared to appreciate the concept of the hypothetical clash. Old Triple G versus Crawford would be awesome. The user stated that both were skilled elite fighters. Therefore, it would have been a fantastic matchup, no matter how much you might want them to. Some boxing contests are just not doable. Interview. As demonstrated in today's tale, while their fight was off, rumors circulated that His Excellency Turkey Alec was considering a massive bout between former undisputed welterweight champion Terence Crawford and former super middleweight champion Golovkin. After facing fighters like Errol Spence Jr., Sean Porter, and Amir Khan throughout the years, Terence Crawford finally got the fight he had always wanted against Canelo Alvarez. It was the most recent major bout in each man's career. 3 of Canelo's major fights have been against his former bitter rival Golovkin. Alvarez. The two fought over a 5-year period, with the first fight taking place in September 2017 and ending in a contentious majority draw, though many believe the Cock Star should have prevailed. Canelo has also faced Floyd Mayweather, Miguel Cotto, Shane Mosley, and Sergey Kovalev. How we train and concentrate for a rematch happened a year later, with Canelo winning by a slim margin victory. But the third encounter in 2022 was perhaps the most important of the 3, since Alvarez triumphed more easily, this time on points. Abel Sanchez, who coached Gennady Golovkin in 2 of his fights against Canelo in 2017 and 2018, respectively, has first-hand experience preparing a fighter to face the Mexican icon. Speaking to KO Artist Sports, Sanchez gave Bud Crawford little to no chance against Canelo, citing his significant weight disadvantage as a major factor. Canelo recently signed a 4-fight deal with Riyadh Season, with the first of this huge deal scheduled for May 3rd, when he faces IBF super middleweight champion William Skull in an attempt to become the undisputed super middleweight champion once more. Interview. It's a crazy fight because, as I mentioned previously, Crawford is a fantastic fighter, but he hasn't changed anything to make himself competitive at the heavier weights. Conversely, Canelo has former 2-weight world champion Andre Ward has expressed his thoughts on the possible super fight between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. Crawford hasn't been destroying his opponents. He destroyed one who was a shell of his former self. But Canelo is destroying everyone he fights. Indeed, it's a good money fight, but it's not a real fight. Interview. Since Canelo's career-defining performance against welterweight rival Errol Spence Jr. last year, but has been pursuing him. Although the Mexican initially denied the fight, he recently acknowledged that he would be willing to defend his super middleweight titles against the naturally smaller man if the money was right. Talking on the podcast All the Smoke, the 2 boxing bouts that Ward, who retired with a perfect record of 32 victories from 32 fights, stated he would most like to see are Canelo versus Terence Crawford or David Benavidez. You can either approach someone in your weight class or try to make fun of the smaller guy. Terence Crawford. Interview. In the hypothetical Crawford-Canelo clash, his money would be on the man who last fought at 3/8 classes lower. I'm not betting against Terence right now against anyone not doing it, but Ward claims that Crawford is someone you can't bet your house on. I can bet the house on Bud because we have very similar mentalities. He's skilled, yes, but his heart and mind are different. There aren't many guys like that out there right now, but until you get into a real fight, I'm not saying that you should defeat him. Rather, I'm saying that a guy that is a 50-50 matchup, and then we don't really know what you have. Interview. He is unique. The fact that he is a dog is what makes me rise up from my chair because it shows that you can be that person when you need to be that guy. A combatant who is well known for calling Terence Crawford his big brother, although he concedes a 14 PBS weight disadvantage to the Mexican superstar. Shakur Stevenson also thinks Terence Crawford would defeat Canelo Alvarez if they ever faced off. In contrast to Charlo Canelo, who maintains that he has no interest in fighting Crawford because of the size factor, Stevenson doesn't think it would be an issue for the pound-for-pound K. The former 2-8 world champion affirms that skills, not size, win fights, and he believes Bud has the winning formula with his southpaw stance, excellent movement, and sound fundamentals to give Canelo a serious headache. Interview. Speaking to IFL TV regarding Crawford's future plans, Stevenson stated that Terence Crawford is currently in charge of things. As for who he should face next, I would love to see him take on Charlo, even if Charlo is already scheduled to face Canelo. Since Crawford is a southpaw with strong movement and boxing technique, I firmly think he may defeat Canelo. It would be difficult for Canelo to walk Crawford down and use his strong hooks. Although I wish Charlo and Canelo weren't fighting, I believe Bud could defeat Canelo, and I would like to witness it because I believe that talents, not size, win battles.